Robin Gibb, welcome to Top of the Pops.
It's a pleasure.
Great to have you with us, a legend in our midst. Congratulations on your work, by the way, with the Fame Academy, the BBC's talent show competition. Did you enjoy being a judge? I
enjoyed being a judge on Fame Academy tremendously. I think, how bad can that be, looking for new British talent?
And you kind of got a name for yourself as maybe slightly one of the gentler, kinder judges. Are you normally like that, or are you quite a harsh critic?
I'm not a harsh critic, but I'm fair and honest. And what I'm looking for is talent, and I don't really want to discourage people through being unnecessarily nasty. I think the whole case of being a judge is not about critiquing or being nasty. It's about being honest and giving them a guideline of where they should go, as opposed to where we want them to go.
Absolutely. Well, Alex Parks was the winner.
Yes.
She's a young female vocalist, maybe in the style of, say, Pink or Avril Lavigne. Would you say that's fair?
Yeah, or even Dido. I think there's a tremendous potential for her to have a long career. There was for me, yes, she was the clear one. There's also a couple of winners. I think Alistair was excellent as well, and he has a great recording voice. But they're both two different types of artists. They were the two top ones finishing up on Fame Academy with nearly all the votes. So I can see them both having long, full careers. And possibly crossing over into the US as well.
Do you think they possess that special star quality that'll give them longevity rather than just this sort of quick burst of fame that they seem to get?
You know, sometimes when you see an artist but they haven't had the experience of being out there in the music industry at the start, don't always actually display those kind of characteristics that we used to seeing in professionals. And you don't always see it at first. And that comes maybe after 6 or 7 months, maybe a year of working in the music industry and having success. So it's something that's developed. Even the Beatles, when they started, didn't have that, although they clearly had talent, and as these people do. So when you get people right at the very beginning, you know, it's kind of, it's kind of refreshing to see that right away and to know that they've got this talent, but they're still, they're still going somewhere.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, your forthcoming single is recorded with Alistair, who's one of the winners of Fame Academy, came second. Now, the song that you've chosen, that he will be duetting with you on, you've actually originally recorded that with Lance Bass of NSYNC.
That's right.
And Wayne Morris of Boys to Men. Do the two songs differ with when you have a different singer singing with you?
Well, in fact, if you hear Alistair's voice, it's astonishing that if you didn't tell someone who it was, you would swear it was from one of the top American bands. I mean, it's astonishing, and he did this in an hour. If that doesn't display some kind of quality for a long career, I don't know what does, because I couldn't tell the difference between that and a really, it could have been one of NSYNC, it could have been Boys to Men. So,
when you're doing a duet like that, I mean, there are certain different processes of doing it. I believe Mariah Carey sometimes, in one of her diva fits, tends to actually do her part, and then the rest of it is done in a remote studio somewhere else at a different time. Do you do that, or do you like to be in the studio with that other person?
I like to be in the studio, hands-on, all the time, because it's an emotional thing, making records, and you have to have that emotional connection with the record. You have to know where the highs and lows are, and you can only do that by being in the studio. Absolutely.
Obviously, let's talk a little bit about your current album, Magnet. Why call it Magnet?
Well, because I associate... Well, Magnet, again, is about drawing things towards you, and I think music is a very strong force of drawing things in, where it's emotional, relationships are a magnet. So everything is a force towards itself, and I thought it covered that. And, and it just seemed like just the right title to have.
Now, how do you think it differs, the work that you've done on Magnet, to stuff you've done with the Bee Gees, which everybody will know you from?
Yeah, which is obviously, that's how I prefer it to be. I'm not trying to be a solo artist per se, but I just want time to express myself my own way. Having said that, there will be a Bee Gees album out next year, a new studio album by the Bee Gees with me and Barry for DreamWorks, and we're already working on that. But for the solo album, I'm not trying to say that there's a difference between me and the Bee Gees, nor am I trying to be different, but I'm just doing, it's just Robin Gibb on his own making an album.
Okay, and you say that there will be a new album from the Bee Gees, but will it go under the title of the Bee Gees?
It will be under the title of Bee Gees, yes.
Okay, all right. I thought that...
There was a time when, just after Morris died, where we thought we wouldn't. And just, well, of course, obviously, those were very early days, just after Morris died, that we were very confused. We didn't know, nor had we made up our minds. And it was an emotional kind of knee-jerk reaction. But now, having thought about it, and even DreamWorks, they felt that, we're the Bee Gees, and it would be wrong not to keep the name.
Absolutely. It might surprise people, actually, to know that, because you're such an illustrious songwriter in your own right, that a lot of the songs on your current album, actually, you used other songwriters. Any reason why you did?
Yes, there was a very definite reason, and a reason that I will not do again. And it's not because it was a bad experience, it was because it was a one-off, and that was... First of all, I wanted to do an album quite quickly, and I wanted to showcase new songwriting talent, because one of the things about Fame Academy, and a lot of the reasons I did, is to find new songwriters, because songwriting is very important to me. And there's a lot of songwriters that don't get exposure out there for actually just being songwriters. So I thought I would do the reverse. Instead of writing a few of the songs myself, I would actually go in and record songs by new unknown songwriters. Plus, I would do re-record some Bee Gees songs as well on the album, and it's been interesting. A few of the songs have been very good. There's American and English songwriters on the album.
What would you say is your favourite song on the album?
I still have to say my favourite song on the album is the one that's going on with us, is "Lover's Prayer," which is a song that the three of us wrote.
Absolutely. It's originally a Bee Gees song.
Exactly, yeah.
And okay, what about another song that stands out for you from the album?
It's actually I like Earth Angel, and also another Bee Gees song, "Wish You Were Here."
Tell me about Earth Angel. What's
well,
that?
it has a kind of it's a very black, earthy R&B song, and it was written by Deacon, which was a producer for Michael Jackson and various other people, and it just has a great urban feel to it, and the harmonies in it I particularly like, and just the whole production.
Is there a process of songwriting that you stand by? I mean, do you work in a specific way, or do you just let inspiration come left and right?
I don't think there's any real system of writing songs. It is a spiritual, emotional experience where you get an idea, and you can have an idea anywhere. You can get an idea from a song just through a title even, and that can actually create the whole feel of the song. And you can have an idea in your head and may not get in the studio for another few weeks. So every song has a different way of creating itself.
Do you ever find yourself just sort of whistling a little melody that you create on the street and then expanding the song from that?
Absolutely, yeah. And you have a memo recorder with you too, so you can just hum it down and then play it later.
That's great, that's great. So many of your songs have been covered. In fact, you seem to be the benchmark for every new young pop artist to come up. To feel that they've actually arrived in some sense, it's best to do a Bee Gees song. And that's just, I suppose, testament to the fact that the songs that you've written are great pop songs. How do you feel about when you come across a cover version of one of your songs? Is it flattery? It's.
I always love to hear people doing our songs in their own way. And even copying us in a sense, because it's like they're like the original way we did it. And so, yeah, I've never really disliked a cover. I've always, even extreme versions of our songs, done in a completely different way, have always interested me. So yeah, I've always enjoyed different versions.
Any ones that particularly stand out to you? Have you got any personal favourites of?
I liked the Destiny's Child, Emotion. That was a standout for me. I loved that very much.
Absolutely. Finally, any thoughts of doing any shows around the world?
We'll be doing dates next year to coincide with the new Bee Gees album. We're doing about 20 dates in America and 20 dates in Europe.
Anywhere else in the world? Have you got any plans to do Asia?
I think definitely. Once now we've got the America and Europe in place, we'll definitely be doing Asia.
That's great. That's excellent. Well, Robin, thank you very much for joining us on Top of the Pops.
Thank you.